Alright, so I'm really excited for this video today because back in January of this year, I designed something called the ScottoRang, which was a 16x16 space chalk keyboard that's very, very compact and small, and it's actually kind of my favorite board I've ever designed, right next to the Scotto 34, which was kind of my other favorite board I've ever designed. But today we're going to actually be building the PCB edition of this board, which will be available on my shop if you want to kind of support me, so I'll link that down below. And then also, as per usual with my PCB videos, I do have to give a big, massive shout out to Next PCB for sponsoring this video and sending me the PCBs for this. They have really affordable prices and really extremely high quality PCBs. I've been very impressed with the quality. You'll see that once we jump into the video. But they also have something that's really neat, which is really robust part sourcing. So basically, you can just kind of tell them the parts you need. You don't really need to give them like parts numbers. They'll source it for you. And then what they'll actually do is take those parts, run a small production run of the PCB, and send you images of it with the parts on it so you can confirm placement on a physical PCB instead of like a digital tool like some other websites use. So it's a really like nice way to kind of make sure your PCB is going to be having the correct parts placements before placing the full order. So I'll link them down below. I highly recommend them if you need any PCBs assembled. And with that, we'll jump in and get started with the build. So this right here is the ScottoRang PCB edition. And the first thing I want to point out on this board before anything else is if I actually just grab this and put it in my hand like that, look how tiny that is. My camera is actually also zoomed in right now. So this board is very small, and that's because of the 16x16 space chalk switches. Now, the one thing with that though, if we look here, is if we actually look between the switches here, you can see that I have these standoffs kind of already in the board. They're just little 4mm male to female standoffs. I'll probably have a time lapse running right now over this just to kind of give you an idea of what I did there, because I like to do some of this stuff ahead of time. It makes my life easier for the videos. But the reason for that is if we actually kind of didn't do these male to female standoffs, didn't glue them in like that, the screw here would actually collide. So we put a switch here and a switch here and try to get an M2 screw in there. It would collide with the switches and you wouldn't be able to get that in. Now I could have probably done a smaller like an M1 or an M1.5 screw. I didn't really like that solution because those are getting really tiny at that point. So I thought just kind of gluing them in makes the BOM a little bit easier for this, the bill of materials, just kind of simpler to glue them in, and they're strong enough because you're not really putting much like torque on them side to side. It's just kind of holding it like that. So the glue works, but that's kind of the negative side effect of the 16x16 space switches. But the positive of that, of course, is that if we just look at this, it's very compact and small, just like so. Now, the first thing we have to actually do to assemble this board is like most of my PCB boards, if I flip this over here, you'll see that we have all these unpopulated little diode pads here. So we have all these diode pads for some SOD123 diodes, which if I actually grab over here, you can see they are very small diodes. And I've said this millions of times in different PCB builds that these aren't hard to solder. They're just very small. Now I do have some videos on my channel, of course. I'll link some of them on the screen right now of how to actually solder these. It's very easy, basically just tack them on. So what I'm going to do now, of course, first is I'm going to go through the board. I'm going to solder all these little diodes on, and then we'll be back after to kind of talk about the center stuff on this, because what we actually have here is our RP2040 in the middle, and then we will have an OLED. So I'm going to go through and do the diodes now. So if I pick this up and show you now, you can see we have all our diodes soldered to the PCB here. Yet again, they're just very small and kind of intimidating, but they're really not hard to solder. But what we're going to do at this point actually is we're going to put this down, and I'm going to grab off to the side here. We have our little RP2040 Zero, as you can see, RP2040 Zero. These controllers are really nice because they do have 2 megabytes of flash. They have a lot of GPIO. They even have these like little tiny pads here you can use more GPIO. But what's really important about this one in particular for this build, so if we look on the edge here, it has what's called castellated pads, meaning that copper extends onto the edges of the PCB. And what that will allow us to do, if I grab this here and I take it like this is important. This is the way you mount it. Is we have our RP2040 chip here. This is the back of the PCB because we have our standoff, so we'll kind of go like that in the case. But this will sit on here like such. We'll solder those edge pins onto there, and then it allows us to get a super thin and low profile board here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to actually go through. I'm just going to take the controller here. I'm going to solder it to the board. Then we'll be back after to talk about the switches and the OLED, and then we should have a functional board. There is the controller on the board. As you can see, it looks very nice. It's very nice and neatly soldered on there, and it also keeps it very low profile like I was mentioning, so you can just see how thin that is. What we're going to do now, of course, is kind of finish up the assembly of the board. So we're going to put this down. I'm going to actually grab our plate here, and the plate is important to take note of at this part, that we actually have this kind of section here cut out of it that is going to sit on the board like this, but that gives us a little bit of space for that USB-C so it kind of doesn't collide with the plate. But what we're also grab is that I have over here our little OLED, and what we have on these OLEDs are these little black headers here. We're going to just rip those off with a plier, basically just grab it and it will come right off. But this is going to sit in the plate just like such. So we'll kind of have that sit in there, and then we'll screw it in, and then we'll put all our switches in here. This will become one assembly, and then we'll solder that to the board there. Now the switches, of course, I'm going to be using, well, maybe not of course because I didn't mention this, but we're going to be using these. These are Choc Pro Reds. They're my favorite linear Choc switch right now. They're very nice. They kind of have a very good weight. I've tried pinks before. They're a little too light, so I really like these switches in particular. What I'm going to do is I'm going to grab these. I'm going to go through. I'm going to pop everything into the plate, and then I'm going to just solder this kind of whole assembly here into it, and then we can talk about kind of assembling the case, and we'll have a completed board. And I also do want to mention at this point too, because I don't think I did, that it's important that you flash the firmware now because you have access to these buttons easily. Once you solder everything on, it's going to kind of cover it up. It won't be too easy to access those. I mean, it won't be impossible. You can use like a toothpick to get in there, but just flash firmware now if you can. With that, I'm just going to go through. I'm going to solder the switches OLED on, and then we'll be back to talk about it once we assemble it. So there are the switches in the OLED on the plate there, and I wanted to pause before soldering this because what I forgot a moment ago to mention were these standoffs also that you should assemble before soldering everything, because there is no easy way to access these screws from the back of the PCB. Like once you mount this on there is no access for that. And what these are actually for, these little standoffs, is if we grab the plexiglass here, this just has a protective cover on it right now. That's why it's not clear and transparent. You'll just peel these off afterwards. But basically, those will mount on there, and it'll kind of make it look really clean. But with that, what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this, I'm going to solder everything onto the PCB over here, and I'll be back after that. So there is the fully assembled PCB. You can see on the back here, everything's soldered in. We have our OLED here, which I do want to mention on the OLED. If we actually look, you can kind of see how tall those pins are for that. All we're going to do to kind of solve that is we'll grab a little cutter like this. You can just kind of cut those off and make them flush, so not a big deal there. But what I'm going to do is put this down, and I'm going to grab over here. We have the 3D printed case, which the files are available if you want to print this yourself, or you can also buy one from me on my shop. So just kind of another plug there to my shop if you want to help support me. But what we have is just a case here. It's very, very small yet again. And then on the edges that I like to mention, we have this little cutout section, which is nice. The camera's kind of having a trouble focusing on this because it is white. It's very bright here. But what that cutout on the edge there for is if we actually put this in here, you can kind of see that if we had, say, the thumb keys the same as over here, you'd hit the edge of the case and it wouldn't be as comfortable. So I find on these chalkboards, it's kind of nice to do a little scoop there, and then you don't hit as much there. So it's kind of nice like that. But I'm going to put this down. And then the other thing we're going to grab is that I have over here a baggie of little 16x16 keycaps, yet again available at the repo if you want to print them yourself or buy them from my shop. Yet again, but we'll just kind of pour these out here and take a quick look at them. They are 16x16 size, so they're very, very small. They also have the kind of fuzzy skin on it, which I don't think I mentioned. This case here actually has fuzzy skin too. Kind of looks nice, but also the keycaps have that fuzzy skin, which is very hard to see with this white filament here. But I found that the fuzzy skin actually makes the keycaps feel smoother, which you might think that the fuzzy skin would feel textured. It really doesn't. It feels better than without, so kind of have that on there too. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through, I'm going to grab the case here, I'm going to grab the keycaps, I'm going to assemble everything in there, and then afterwards I can actually show you what the OLED's doing here because it's pretty cool for this board, and also kind of really cool because of the RP2040 controller. So I'm going to go through and just assemble everything, and then we'll be back after that to kind of talk about the final touches on the board. So there's the fully completed board there with the plexiglass also over the OLED. I took the protective off and kind of set that up so it looks really good there, which I kind of mentioned before that we'd have to clip the legs for the OLED. We didn't actually have to do that, so I probably put something on screen too that we didn't have to do anything there. It kind of fit just perfectly, but if you do have issues with that, you just clip the legs behind it. Not a big deal. But what we're going to do is we're actually going to put this down. I'm going to grab a cable here, and we're going to just kind of plug this in to kind of take a look at what that OLED does, and you can see it powers right into the matrix code kind of animation there, which I might do a video on how I do this. I basically have a few scripts that kind of auto compile everything for the actual OLED stuff that you could just drop into your key map. We just have that running there, which looks really, really cool. If we hold this button, we'll get our code layer. If we hold this one, we'll get our number layer. I have a function layer over here, so you can kind of see different indicators for those layers. And this is all because we're actually using that RP2040 Zero. It basically has a lot of storage, has 2 megabytes of flash, so you can store a lot of frames in there. And this is also running at around 30 FPS, which is kind of crazy because of that RP2040 allows us to do that. If you had like an Atmega or something different, you wouldn't really be able to do that as easily. But this RP2040 Zero in here, very powerful, allows us to do some very cool stuff like that. But what I want to do now, of course, at this point in the video is we're going to do a typing test on this. You're probably thinking at this point just how cramped this is. It really isn't that cramped. I thought it would be too, but the thing is with it, because it has that like 25 degrees of tilt here, it's not as cramped as you would think. I've used 16x16 boards like this before, like plank style ones. They are very cramped. You kind of have to do some weird stuff with the layout to get them to work. But with this one, because it's like this, it really isn't that bad. It will have a little learning curve if you're used to MX or you've never used a chalkboard before, but with this one here, it's pretty nice, and I actually really enjoy typing on it. So we're gonna go through, we're gonna do a typing test now, and then we'll have some closing words, and that's pretty much the video. So I think this board feels really nice to type on. The sound isn't so great, but that's kind of just a thing with chalkboards. It's very hard to make them actually sound good. What we have is just a completed board here. It looks really, really nice. You can kind of see the super low profile. And what I did is I actually ran upstairs and grabbed the one I've been dailying, which is the same board, but in black here. And you can really see kind of how the fuzzy skin looks on there. You can see the OLED in the middle, the fuzzy skin on the case. It looks really, really nice. I'm really happy with how this board turned out, especially if I can just plug it on in. That OLED in the middle just kind of ties everything together. It looks really, really cool. We have our layer indicators to make that OLED actually useful, because I've always said that OLEDs are kind of useless, and they really are for the most part, but with the layer indicators, it's not as useless, and the matrix code running there looks really, really cool. So I'm happy with how that turned out, especially with the plexiglass to kind of give it that shine to it also. But I don't really have much else to say now at this point, other than another massive shout out to NextPCB for sponsoring this video and sending the PCBs to build this. I really do like their quality of stuff, and they've been really nice to work with, so I'll link them down below if you want to check them out. These are available on my shop, so if you want to pick one of these up, a kit for the PCB or cases or anything like that, I'll link that down below if you want to build one yourself. Join my Discord if you're not in there. I'll link that, where we can talk about keyboards or get help with stuff, especially the handwiring stuff if you've seen any of my other videos. But I don't have much else to say here other than thank you for watching, comment, rate, subscribe as usual, and I'll see you next time.